Welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast, brought to you by the Draft Professor. The Draft Professor is a group of podcasters bringing you daily draft podcasts and is home to the only dynamic mock draft simulator which allows fans to mock draft against other fans. The Draft Professor Simulator features a first-round challenge, 5 unique one-round drafts. The Draft Professor Simulator features a second-round challenge, 10 unique 2-round drafts. All mock drafts are always picking against the fans and draft analysts which use the simulator. Every mock, every pick, every time. The Draft Professor also features ranked players functionality, where you can rank your favorite players at every position. Optionally, you can add tiers to your rankings to show what round you have the players graded in. The Draft Professor also features draft a team functionality, which allows users to snake draft a team of 22 players to demonstrate your my guys, compare player strengths, and discuss draft prospects in a way no other mock draft simulator can. Thank you for tuning in to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast. This episode will begin shortly. Well, welcome to the Sunday night edition of Mrs. R Relevant, joined by Heather, Drew, Price. We're going to go through rounds 4 and 5 of a mock draft that started on Monday. But before we get going, Price, good to see you on the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this. It's the easy folks, the casuals, they're doing 1-round mocks. The fans, they're doing 2 and 3 round mocks, but the true addicts are here in round 4 and 5. Day 3, that's where it happens. So we're here to break down sicko level mode of prospects. So we're here for it.
Yeah, so Drew, you are one of the addicts that I'm looking for. Are you ready? Are you ready to dive into day 3?
I was born ready. Like Price said, day 3 is where the action is. That's where the real things go down. Especially as a Titans guy, not having a 3rd-round pick because Price's team robbed us of the 66 overall pick. Day 2 has not been as much fun this draft season for me. So day 3 is where the action is for me, at least. I've been ready to get this done since Monday, so I'm excited to dive in here.
Yeah, and Heather, you've had a busy day of podcasting.
I have. That's okay. That's what Sundays are for. It's been a big day of sports all around, so it's been nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it is great to have all of us here together. I think this is really the first time the 4 of us have ever been in a room together. But we are going to talk about day 3 draft prospects. And Heather, what did the Titans do in rounds 1 and 2 of this mock?
Well, not much because they haven't had very many picks. I don't understand why. But they did well. They got Cam Ward and they got James Pierce Jr. So far this draft that should be real life, I think.
So Drew, I mean, you've got the Derrick Henry jersey behind you, and the Oilers hat on, which is the far superior Titans look for sure.
I agree.
What are we thinking here?
I think this has been kind of a dream draft board for the Titans at every pick I've been at so far. Pierce falling that far, I know there's been a lot of character concerns there, so I think that's why he slipped out of round 1. Keeping him in Tennessee, I think that's a home run for a team with a huge needed edge. And I think the receiver board is looking pretty well at the top of round 4, which is obviously where you have to go. You're kind of empty outside of Calvin Ridley right now. And I have been a huge Kyle Williams truther throughout this cycle. Recently, he's my wide receiver 4. He's got like an early 2nd round grade for me. I'm way above consensus on him, and that's going to be the pick for me here. I think Kyle Williams he's the exact type of receiver that I love. There might be a little redundancy with what Calvin Ridley does, but I don't think Calvin Ridley's like a long-term piece you're accounting for in this build. And Kyle Williams is such a natural separator. He's lethal off the line of scrimmage. He's got the long speed to vertically separate. He's an after the catch threat. A little bit small, doesn't play very physical at the catch point, but I don't think you really need to when you separate it as well as he does. So I think that's a big addition and great value here for the Titans.
Yeah, a rookie quarterback's best friend, right? We got Cam Ward.
And he had
here.
2 years with Cam Ward in Washington State. So.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, out of the slot, right? Like that's a spot that a lot of teams don't have open. The slot, like a lot. And I know Ridley runs out of there a little bit, but he can certainly do Z or X as well too. So yeah, I like that. You think about the connection that Oh, what's the slot receiver from North Carolina that ended up with the Colts?
Josh Downs.
Yeah, Josh Downs. Like, you look at Josh Downs and the relationship he had with Drake May, and then like he's been one of the few guys who's been able to really have success with Anthony Richardson. Makes a ton of sense.
So, Heather, this is your Cleveland Browns.
I don't even know what we need. Honestly, like it's I joke, but honestly, I feel like we just need to sell the team at this point and start over. We got in this draft, we got Shador Sanders, we got Ursi, we got Kyle Kennard, and we got Damon Martinez. I honestly, we need everything. We need so much right now. I would probably go. I'd probably go on defense. I'd probably go a DB in this. We're going to be a little bit weak in that because we have a couple guys coming up on their contract year, and we've been pretty weak. So I'd probably go a DB here.
So
Yeah.
How do you feel about Denzel Burke to Cleveland?
Absolutely not. I mean, as an Ohio State, absolutely not. That's the last thing that we need is another corner that we have to teach to turn around and not use his hands in everybody's face. No, absolutely not.
I knew I could
so
poke
disappointing. His
the bear.
23 tape was so good, and then 24 just fell off a cliff.
Yep. Yeah, he's the example of that. He stayed too long. Most of those kids, they get better, but he should have went when his stock was a little bit higher, a lot higher.
He had me thinking Evan Stewart was going to be a first-round pick this year in that Oregon game because he just got carved up in that game.
If Frazier still being here is kind of crazy.
Yeah, if we're looking at CB, I mean, to me, probably the best player on the board is Dorian Strong out of Virginia Tech. Doesn't do anything that like super jumps off the page, but it's just pretty solid everywhere. He's probably my top-rated CB. I wanted to let's look at defensive tackle, maybe see what's at DT. Because if I remember right, they don't really have a ton of depth there.
No, they don't have very much depth.
Yeah, this is pretty slim too.
It is pretty thin. There was a run on defensive tackles at the end of round 3.
I mean, Jordan Phillips and Shamar Turner at the top of day 3, I don't hate. Riley Mills too, maybe. I haven't watched all that much on him that I need to. Deion Walker, the back issues were there, but I think honestly the back issues, as bad as they look on paper, I think it maybe kind of gives you a little hope for the pad level issues because that was an issue that plagued him throughout 2024. So if you get that back issue fixed, maybe the pad issues aren't as bad. But I mean, I think if they need interior defensive line help. I know they just got Malik Jackson, but you need somebody, a little bit younger and to kind of solidify the rest of that room. So I think Shamar Turner is kind of the upside guy. I think Jordan Phillips is a more NFL-ready run defender. You can get him in there and be a day one impact. I like one of those two guys.
I think that's what we need. We need a little bit better.
This is the only Cleveland pick we're making. Like, Cleveland doesn't have a 5th-round pick, do they?
No, we're still probably trying to pay for our quarterback. No, we don't. I don't think we have another 5th round.
So, do you guys like?
I would go.
Is Dorian Strong boundary or slot for you, Price?
I have him predominantly as boundary, but I could see him kicking in, especially with Denzel Ward, not Denzel Burke.
Yes,
Denzel Ward on the boundary, and I think he's got the skill set to do that. I don't think that he's like a super high level athlete, but I think that can work in the slot, especially when you look at the division they're in, right? So they've got some studs on the outside: DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. That's a lot of really good outside boundary receivers. So I could see it work, but also like I don't have a problem with Shamar Turner either.
And Drew, who's higher on your board, Turner or Strong?
Turner. I'm a little bit lower on Dorian Strong because I think he's I like corners that are grabby, like the aggressive grabby press corners. But I think Strong is an example of a bad grabby because I think he's a very, very limited athlete, and I think he grabs a lot at breaks to make up for that. And I don't think he's gonna be able to get away with that at the next level. In the slot, you can kind of put a Band-Aid on some of those things. But I think Turner and Phillips both are a little bit higher on my board. I still like Zaf Frazier. I think I'm higher on him than most. If they need boundary corner help, I think he's a guy you look at with those athletic traits, especially in a boundary corner class this thin.
Okay. Well, we will do Turner. That was a name I heard both of you mention. Giants are up. Heather, what did the Giants do?
The Giants took Hunter, Jalen Milroe. That's an interesting pick. Jonah Savanea and Cam Scatabo.
Getting a bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are some bold choices there.
Are we thinking corner, offensive line help, or defensive line?
I think kind of the same as the Browns. You're looking at either boundary corner or interior defensive line.
Like, if we look at edge, Jalote, JTT, and Sawyer are all still here at the top of round 4.
I don't
Yeah,
think
what do they got? They lost Ojulari, right? But they have Burns and Thibodeau. They still got Sexy Dexy on the inside. I don't hate like a pocket pusher like Tuli Maloau or Jack Sawyer. I've got Tuli higher on my board. What about if they just kind of get a move piece like Fannin, where like they don't have a true. You want something to go along with Malik Neighbors, right? And Scattaboo, I think has some nice parts to his game, but I don't think that he's someone that's going to raise the explosiveness of this offense. Although you did get Hunter, who can mix in on offense too. I don't know. What do you guys think about Fannin?
I'm somebody who's a lot lower on Fannin.
I think he would be BPA in round 4. So, Drew, even with you being lower on Fannin, do you still like him in round 4?
He's a 5th round grade for me. So, like, I don't,
Okay.
It's kind of on day 3. It's kind of semantics. Like, I'm not going to crucify you if you take him in round 4.
How about Gadsden?
Gadsden, I think Gadsden is better at what Fannin does than Fannin is. I don't really love the role one of them plays, but I think if you want somebody who does that, I think Gadsden can be a more versatile piece. I think Gadsden could turn into like an actual receiver option for you down the line if you mold him that way, because the ball skills are very, very apparent. He's athletic enough in a massive frame. He's been an awesome red zone target. I think he's a solid separator. I think that's something you can polish up a little bit. Again, I think it's still a little early for me. They invested in Johnson last year.
What about safety? What's over at safety?
That would be an interesting
McKinney. I don't mind Bowman. He's a little undersized. He's probably just like your deep safety. Boy, this got picked over pretty good too. Huh?
Yeah, safety's looking thin. I mean, maybe
we are
maybe.
Getting better at doing 3-round mocks. I'm getting the good players off the board.
I was looking through the mocks so far on Twitter, and I didn't think I saw a bad one. I thought they were all really, really good.
These are the two names back there on safety that I have way higher on my boards are Sanker from Virginia and Ransom from Ohio State. I like Ransom a lot. I think he really is a versatile player. He brings the wood, like he's a hitter. I like him a lot more than this. I think he can make some sense. Either one of these guys I like here because I can't name a giant safety right now after they lost McKinney.
They took Tyler Newman, but he hasn't been he's been good in run support, but he's left a lot to be desired in pass coverage from what I know.
Yeah.
I like Sanker a lot. I like Ransom too, but Sanker's higher for me. He's an awesome box safety, man.
When we have consensus, that becomes the pick. New England on the clock.
They have taken Abdul Carter, Calvin Banks, Xavier Restrepo, and Tate Ratledge.
Is this a running back?
I mean, it could be. You don't love going in with Ramondre Stevenson. I think you could also. I think this is where you can address that.
Chutin, Gordon.
So we got to remember we've got McDaniels back here, right? In offense. To me, I feel like they need a guy who can do everything. And to me, that guy's Devin Neal, where like he's just pretty good at everything. Pass protection, pass receiving, outside zone, inside man duo gap. I think while I don't think he might be the highest ceiling of the players that are on the board here at the running back position, I think he might be the lowest floor, which is kind of what they need.
I agree.
What do you think, Drew?
Jaden Blue's highest on my board when it goes to running backs, but I think Price nailed it about what they're going to do at running back, and I think Neal is probably your most well-rounded guy left.
Okay. Jacksonville on the clock in round 4.
So Jacksonville they have taken. Why do I have 2 Abdul Carters? I have Abdul Carter here. We have Mason Graham. I thought he was already taken. Maybe he wasn't. Emeka Ibuka, Calvin Banks. It's because I don't know how to use a filter. Mason Graham. I do this for a living. I work on Excel all day. Mason Graham, Emeka Ibuka, Benjamin Morrison, and Gunnar Helm.
Solid haul.
That's a solid
another
haul.
team that needs QB help, I think.
So-
You could also look at receiver. Well, no, there you go. Ibuka.
Do we like offensive line here, or have they taken a cornerback yet? Was there a corner listed in
They
that?
got Morrison.
Yeah, they got Morrison.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind looking at offensive line.
They also need a safety, and we haven't taken a safety.
Still got
Is this
Ransom.
Ransom?
With Lathan, yeah.
Like
With
Ransom.
Lathan.
I'm a big Malik Verdon guy. Me and Cole have both been kind of singing his praises. I don't know that I'm quite as high as Cole is, but I do like Malik Verdon a lot. He's a great athlete, a huge frame. I mean, he's like Nick Emmanwori level size.
Ohio State, man, they're just really putting out some high level athletes here lately.
Yeah, I don't know what's in the water down there in Iowa State, but those guys, I mean, it is like RAS scores through the roof on that entire team.
Well, who's the CB they had last year who tested really well too?
TJ Tampa, right?
Yeah, TJ Tampa. He's on the Ravens. I was really high on him. Yeah,
I don't need
Ransom.
safety here. I'm
Yeah.
fine with either one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm fine either way on both those guys.
Okay.
Take-
We'll
take
take
my-
Verdon.
Take my guy.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's
Ransom.
Ransom.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can do that. Okay. Round 4, the Raiders are on the clock.
They have Ashton Genty, Siobhan Revel, and Jalen Noel.
That's another awesome draft, man.
Yeah, that is pretty fun.
Does this feel like it's defensive line?
It probably needs to be.
Yeah. I know they just brought back. I mean, could it be edge? They just lost Kavanche Son. I mean, I know they re-signed Crosby, but you're kind of looking pretty empty opposite of him. They just re-signed. I forget his name, but they re-signed the interior defensive lineman.
I kind of like Gillette here. He's kind of their type, more of the stand-up outside edge.
Femi Oladajo, would you like him over Jalot?
I mean, I was probably more familiar with what their type is than me.
Yeah, I like Gillette a little bit more. He's a moderate frame, like he's not super undersized, but he reminds me honestly a little bit of their edge rushers that they have outside of Crosby. They've got a nice mix, right, too, with Crosby and the kid from Texas Tech a couple years ago, the big, powerful frames.
Tyree
Then
Wilson.
Yeah, and then they've got their kind of more bendy guys like that. Those guys have given the Chiefs fits over the years, so I like that pick there. I like that fit.
Okay, so I've done too many mock drafts for Buffalo that I don't remember who Buffalo took in this one.
Golden
So
TJ. Oh, sorry. That's
No, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
got too excited. Okay. I just
No,
started
no,
answering the question. I forgot.
No, Golden, Sanders, and Winston. You were right. So
So it was
I remember
Golden,
Golden.
Winston, and who?
TJ Sanders.
TJ Sanders. So the needs are a one tech with Jordan Phillips sitting right there. And we need a corner.
Caldwell still here?
Say that
No,
again?
he went to the Rams. Never mind.
Yep. So what I'm thinking, like if I'm assessing this board, I don't think Jordan Phillips makes it to the end of the round. Right? Like if I'm stacking the board and we need a one tech, like they're going out of style. I like Burke to Buffalo. Buffalo has scouted Ohio State a lot. I like Dotson to Buffalo. I like Zy Alexander to Buffalo. So if any of those three guys drop to the end of the round, that's Buffalo's pick. But I could still see the Dorian Strongs, maybe a Jordan Hancock, maybe a Jason Marshall, maybe a Za Frazier at the like. There's probably 6 corners I could take at the end of the round. There is not more that I could see maybe 2 defensive tackles. So I'm going. Stackhouse is here.
Well, that's rich for Stackhouse.
Who do you guys have higher, Phillips or Stackhouse?
Phillips.
By a country mile.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Phillips. The Jets are on the clock.
So the Jets have not had very many picks. They got Nick Scourton and they got Trey Harris.
And Membu in the first
Oh,
round.
do they have Membu?
Yep.
So Membu, Harris, and Scourton.
Jeez.
Is this another team that needs outside corner help? I mean, opposite of Sauce, who have they had? They just lost somebody in free agency, right? They had a big name.
DJ, not Reader. DJ Reed.
DJ Reed, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, again, Zoff Frazier falling this far is still kind of crazy to me.
How high do you have Frazier price?
I have Frazier. I think I have him kind of in this realm. I think he's about like 130s, 140s for me. I'll have to pull my board here. I should have done that a long time ago, honestly. I have Zy Alexander a little bit higher than Frazier, but I don't have a super strong conviction on that.
Zoff Frazier?
That's again. I'm a traits athletic upside guy, and that is Zoff Frazier. I mean, he's a crazy athlete in a lanky frame. I just think, like, again, I don't have him like board wise. I don't think it's that crazy of a slip, but I just think in a boundary corner class this thin, he's probably going to be a guy that goes a lot earlier than people think.
Yep. And by picking him, we're going to make Drew have to find another corner on his board the next time.
Exactly. That's the problem. Yeah. We're going to have nobody in Tennessee.
There we go. So Panthers are up in round 4.
So the Panthers have gotten Shamar Stewart, Chris Paul, and Noel Williams.
God, that's another haul.
Yeah.
What about? I'm not super familiar with the Panthers roster for obvious reasons. What do they have at center? I know that they're set at guard, and they think they're pretty set at tackle. Do they have a center of note?
And look at who's here.
Oh my God, is Jared Wilson still here? Oh, yeah. How did he fall?
That's what I was thinking. Just like fortify this thing for Bryce Young. Offensive line's not an issue at all.
I mean, you just kick whoever your starting center is out at that point, and just take Wilson. I can't believe he fell to day 3.
So Jared Wilson or wide receiver?
I mean, receiver probably needs to get addressed too.
Well, Cole will tell us they need a receiver or they need a tight end.
What's still there at wide receiver?
Ty Felton's still here.
Yeah.
So Ty Felton, Elijah Badger, Ricky White, Efton Chisholm.
I think Jalen Lane is
to me, Jared Wilson's the definitive best player on the board for them.
And then Ja'Cory Brooks is also still here. But Jared Wilson?
Feels like it has to be. I can't believe we never picked him. That's wild.
Okay, the Saints are on the board, and this will take Heather a minute because they've had like 5 picks.
Am I in the right? I don't know what I'm doing tonight. I have Josh Simmons, Eric Elick. Did we decide on the last one that it was Elick, right? His first name was Elick.
That's why
nobody could pronounce that one. And then Jackson Dart and Dylan Sampson. And then they had pick 10 in this. So who did they?
That would have been Josh Simmons.
Yeah, this feels like it has to be defense, right? I mean, they've gone.
They haven't done edge yet, have they?
No, they haven't, and that's a pretty big spot for them.
Is this Femi Oladajo?
I think, unfortunately, it has to be. I was hoping that was another guy I could slip to Tennessee, but Femi's like he should have been like he's head and shoulders above the rest of this ed group for me.
Price, how about you?
Yeah, I've got JTT the highest out of all these edge defenders, but I'm just trying to think of what they have on the roster right now. They've got Granderson. They just brought back Chase Young. They've got Brzee on the inside, Colin Saunders on the inside. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Oladajo. Is he more of a stand-up bendy type of guy, or is he more of a power?
He's not even had a full year at full-time edge. They converted him mid-season from inside linebacker. And
you got to think like what's the defense? Who even is the defensive coordinator of the Saints right now?
It's
one more taken over. Oh, it's the guy from the Saints, right? Or from the Chargers.
Yeah.
Staley.
Was it, Staley.
Okay. Then, yeah, I think that's a better fit, knowing what they like.
Oladajo?
Yeah, Oladajo.
Yeah, I think when we originally covered him, we covered him as a linebacker. And then a bunch of people said, Jim, you have to move him to edge.
Yeah, it was crazy. And he's like, his edge tape is awesome, dude. For a guy who's been playing edge full-time for like 6 games, it's crazy.
So San Francisco's on the clock.
So they've taken Derek Harmon, Darian Porter, Carson Schweisinger, and Jalen Royals.
Love the Jalen Royals pick. That's just screams 49er, the yak ability. Yeah. Like that's a great fit. I like project tackle here, right? You've got Trent Williams that's, getting close to the end. They don't really have a high upside right tackle. They've kind of just they're so good at plugging and developing these guys. To me, I think Belton is probably the highest of the guys on the floor.
I can't
Drew,
believe.
would you like to tell us
Belton's
about
falling in.
Anthony Belton?
That's ridiculous. I can't believe him and Jared Wilson falling out of day 2 is crazy to me. Belton's a top 50 guy for me. He's like he is the most powerful tackle in this class. He's an extremely good mover for his size. The hands are super powerful. Got some balance issues, but he's just the most raw power of anybody in this class.
Yep. So one of the great things about podcasting with all of you so much is that I know when, like, in this case, one of Drew's guys was like right there on the board. So that makes me happy that I knew that I could just cue that up for you, Drew.
There we go. Teed it up for me.
We got the Bears on the clock, and they've had a few picks.
Yeah, the Bears have Donovan. I'm not even going to Ezeraku, Maxwell, Hairston, they got Travion, and then Darius Alexander.
That's another awesome hole.
Is this offensive line?
It could be another project tackle. You need somebody opposite of Darnell Wright as a future solution. I think it's between Jalen Travis and Cam Williams for me. If you're going tackle here,
yeah, I feel like Cam Williams like upside is still right tackle,
yes.
Right? Like project right tackle where they've got Wright. I don't see Wright being What about Charles Grant? I mean, he's got tools for days, super raw. But if you're going to go project tackle, you might as well take the guy with the traits.
Yeah, I mean, Grant is guard for me, I think. And I'm somebody that's a lot lower on Charles Grant than most people. He's like a later day 3 grade than this for me. I just like he had some major power issues against D2 competition, and that really scares me. I would probably say Jalen Travis could get a look here.
What about Emory Jones? I still haven't given up on Emory Jones at tackle.
Really? Yeah. He's a guard for me too. But I think when you're taking a guy this late, you can afford to just try them and fail inside. There's not like a whole lot of resources involved. So
well, and let's be clear, the guy that's not Joe Tooney that they got from the Rams has not been a model of health. Like he's got
he's not. Yeah.
bit.
So it's never bad to get depth at guard.
Yeah, and I mean, like Emory Jones, I think he could cook out to tackle in a pinch. Whether you think he's got over 34-inch arms, I think he's a pretty decent mover. The double knee braces scare me a little bit. Anytime I see the offensive lineman rolling double knee braces, I'm like, oh god. But I SEC competition held his own. I was watching some of the tape that they had against Ole Miss. Held his own against some really good pass rushers. I like Emory Jones here.
Any objection, Drew?
No, I got him pretty close. I have a couple of guys tiny bit higher, but they're all very close at this point. So I like that pick.
So the Cardinals are up in round 4.
We got Will Johnson, Alfred Collins, and David Walker. Arizona needs a lot. Yeah,
receiver, right? They don't have any. I mean, unless you're a what's the name? Michael
Wilson.
Michael Wilson. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to roll in with him as your sole wide receiver 2 with pretty much nobody below him. Especially, I mean, not that Rondale Moore was really a healthy piece ever, but you just lost him as well.
So what kind of wide receiver do you put opposite Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Just a body at this point, honestly. I think Felton is probably the highest guy left for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I'd say Felton.
Miami on the clock in round 4.
So Miami has gotten Malachi Starks, Tyler Booker, and Logan Brown.
Ooh, love the Logan Brown fit there. With their outside zone scheme. Makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you like that because Logan Brown is another one of Drew's guys.
Oh, yeah. He's another top 50 guy for me. I'm like 200 spots above PFS board on him. Like they need interior defensive line help, right?
I was wondering if this might be the Deion Walker spot.
So how high are you guys on Stackhouse?
I honestly, of the guys here on the board, Ty Robinson's my highest defensive lineman. I love Ty Robinson. Obviously, a little bias here. I'm wearing my Nebraska boys shirt right now, but he's a 5th-year senior, but he was the leader of the defense. Really tested much better than I expected. What's that?
He just tested out of this world. I was just
and I mean, he kind of played that like 3-4 outside, 3-4 defensive end, and but I think he's going to be a real dude on the inside. And I think he's one of the few guys here on the board that you can actually keep on the field for 3 downs too.
So Drew, where do you have Ty Robinson?
I think he's a 5th for me right now. So again, and I think he's like an early 5th. So again, not something I'm like upset as a reach on right here. I think I have Deion Walker a little bit higher, but I think I fully agree on the 3 down front. That Ty Robinson's a lot more versatile and can be a more consistent piece for you.
And Ty Robinson is the reason we're doing this podcast. In the 90 seconds that you guys just covered Ty Robinson, he's probably gotten more podcast time here than he has in like 3 podcasts combined. That's exactly why we do this.
Well, that's why I'm here to pump up my Nebraska guys.
There we go.
Get ready for 2 minutes on Tommy Hill, buddy.
Who's the receiver with the 10 or like 998?
Isaiah Nair.
Isaiah Nair. Yeah, he had a visit with the Titans, so we might talk about him on.
He reminds me of Cornelius Johnson from the Wolverines, where you're just like, oh, he's an outside X guy, tested out of this world, and just kind of exists.
Slap a midday 3 gray on him.
Yeah.
It's always safe.
So the Indianapolis Raz Colts are on the board in round 4.
Yes, they got Campbell, they got Mason Taylor, and they got Aeneas Peebles.
Is there a high Raz running back that's here?
I think Tootin had a really high RAS.
Yeah, I could see
he's
it.
Not a big frame guy, but
the only thing I wonder about him is like you got Jonathan Taylor, who's more of a gap man duo guy, and then like Tootin. If you watch him, almost everything of his is outside zone or jet sweeps. Now I do kind of like the Thunder and Lightning combo of those 2 guys. There's 2 really explosive running backs, but I don't know scheme wise how that works.
Is there a high Raz safety here?
Malik Verdon.
Wait, did you say they took Starks, Heather?
No, that was the Dolphins.
No.
They took G.I. Campbell.
Yeah, they had.
Okay.
Verdon is the athletic guy here. Maybe Billy Bowman too. I don't. He tested pretty well, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think so. I like Verdon here.
Unfortunately, another one of my favorite guys going to a division rival, but I'll get over it.
Atlanta on the clock in round 4. They've only had 2 picks.
Where are their picks at? Like, where did?
Good lord.
It's round 1 and round 2, so I think it's like 15 and 46.
Yeah, it is. But who did they give up? Who did they give up to lose all these picks?
They traded to New England
for
the Matthew Judon. Was it Judon?
Judon, right? Okay.
So they've drafted Mike Green and Omar Norman Lott.
This I think needs to be a linebacker.
You said linebacker? Yeah, that was. I mean, linebacker was my thought. You need somebody who can play like a true like 3 down roll there.
So
you have
Heiser's here. Cody Simon is here.
I feel like Cody Simon of the guys on the board right now is probably the few 3 down guys like Bassa, Kaiser. A lot of those guys are more like passing down, weak side guys.
Yeah, I think Barrett Carter is kind of like a pure run fitting rushing guy. So I think if you want versatility, you look at Cody Simon. Cody Lindenberg too gets a shout. I think those guys are kind of tightly grouped for me right now.
Well, because Cody Simon's the Ohio State player, and we have an Ohio State podcaster.
This should be Jack Kaiser.
That has to be the pick, right?
Yes, not biased at all. I'm not.
I can play to the room. We can play to the room.
You know your audience.
Yes, we have to. Yeah,
I agree with Drew here, by the way, on Jack Kaiser.
Yeah, you just get Luan Marino in there. Like,
yeah, get the guy who knows the system. He's going to be a special teams like four phase contributor, weak side guy. Is there a linebacker in Cincinnati who hasn't requested a trade? I feel like there's like 2 or 3.
I think Logan Wilson is technically still there by the skin of his teeth, but it's probably his last year.
And like, didn't Davis Gaither, who's kind of that guy, go somewhere else this year? He's kind of been one of their.
Yeah, they need somebody there. And Kaiser, I think he's a athletic coverage guy, knows the system, familiar with the defense coordinator. I think that's a dream fit. Right,
you guys saying Kaiser to the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay. It took me a minute to figure out if we were still talking about the Atlanta.
They went. They're going.
Sorry, yeah, I jumped in way too early. Like as soon as you finished, I just said Jack Kaiser.
Yeah, they didn't even wait to listen to.
They don't care. They know who you guys know who you want.
Kaiser, you're a Bengal.
The NFL could take some notes from this because they know who the pick is, but they make you wait the whole 7 minutes. It feels like so.
Exactly.
You guys need to get on that.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, every pick before this for Tennessee has been very, very clear cut. Except I think this is where you really deviate. This could go a couple of different places. You could double dip at receiver or edge right here, but I think those boards have really thinned out. I don't love, Oladipo was my hope right here, but he went. The safety board is really thinned out. I was thinking about Jonas Sanker right here. I think honestly, I think this needs to be offensive line.
So with it being as thin as it is, do you take the best available, or do you gamble on a best available, or you just hope that you get somebody that you can fix in later rounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's Tennessee's roster is in a weird spot because, like, obviously, I think it's like talent-wise, probably a bottom 3-ish roster in the league. But there's weird pockets on the roster that are like starting caliber, and I think there's some gaping holes you really need to address through the draft, especially with how little draft capital we have. So I'm tempted to take Jalen Travis, but you just locked down Dan Moore for 2 years. I think guard is a bigger need behind Kevin Zeitler, who is, probably in his last year. I think like Miles Frazier is the one that pops into my. I love Miles Frazier and Jalen Rivers. Jalen Rivers is a tiny bit higher, but I think Miles Frazier is a dream fit for what Callahan is doing. Brought in the gap scheme. You need guards that can get out in space. Miles Frazier's burst and short area quickness is kind of wild for his size. Plays super balanced, tracks well in space. So I think Miles Frazier is probably my pick right here.
Price, where do you have Frazier?
I'll be honest, the interior offensive line is one of the few places I haven't dug in nearly as much. So I try to do my Chiefs board first. So I've not dug into interior very much.
Oh, that's right. The Chiefs have a relatively strong interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the spots I kind of put till last.
Okay. The Buccaneers are up in round 4.
Yeah, this is their first pick. They're relatively even. So they have Tyler Warren, they have Princely, and then they have Upton Stout.
I mean, I think boundary corner is still a big need because Stout is a pretty clear nickel for me. And they don't have – they're super thin outside there. I think that's probably their weakest position.
Yeah.
And then would wide receiver – I didn't hear a wide receiver there, Heather, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too, because some of the injuries were serious and now they're aging now. So
yeah, well, they got Evans. They just brought back Godwin. They've got the kid from Nebraska. They've got McMillan, who came on for them. I feel like they're pretty good at wide receiver.
I love Trey Palmer, man.
Trey Palmer. He's a fun player.
Yeah, I think receiver
Tyler Warren. So,
yeah, you get receiving right there. I think the future of the position needs to be addressed at some point, like some developmental guys and later on day 3. But I think, boundary corner is kind of a pressing need currently.
Do you guys like Zy Alexander in round 4?
Yeah, he's the highest guy on my board for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think he's the strongest tackler of the group, but there's not a ton of great tacklers in this class, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he's not very physical, but he's really fluid, flips his hips well.
He's fundamentally sound. He can work in zone, or even if he really struggles, like his frame 6'2", 195, probably he could kick out to safety if needed to.
Okay, so the Broncos are on the clock in round 4, and I don't think they've taken a tight end yet.
Have they not?
No.
Oh, we've not.
They've got Savion Williams.
So Heather, remind me, it was running back Savion Williams and a defensive tackle. I think.
Yeah, they have Amarian Hampton and then Joshua Farmer after Savion.
Yeah, it's got to be tight end.
But it's got to be Tez. He's got to get back with.
Tez is there. That's true. I completely forgot he was there.
This is what would they do, not what they should do.
I think Tez transcends the tight end need. You got to figure him back up with Knicks.
I don't like Tez in round 4.
I don't either. I completely agree. It's hard to be small and slow in the NFL. Not a great combo.
Yeah.
So from a tight end standpoint, do we like Do we say that Matavao, Gadsden, Bannon?
They need an inline guy.
Yeah, I would be more into Fannin if they hadn't brought in Ingram, but that just feels redundant now. And Ingram's still a better blocker than Fannin.
Do you like Prescorn, Simon, or Dupree here?
Oof.
I kind of like Prescorn. I feel like he's just a kind of, it's going to be that why that they need. They have a kind of block first tight end that they've had on the roster for a couple of years.
Is it Dulcich?
No, he's
not
always hurt.
Yeah.
It's the guy that he brought over with him from the Saints, I think.
If we're going for an inline guy, I don't hate Prescorn, but I think like Mitchell Evans and like Mataveo are probably better.
Or is Evans still here? I think Evans is gone.
I think I saw him on the first page. Yeah.
Oh wait, you did.
Adam Troutman is the guy.
Troutman.
Yeah, that's what I
He
was
had that crazy
thinking.
one-hand catch.
It's always good for like one of those back-breaking first downs against the Chiefs.
So do you guys like Mitchell Evans to Denver?
I think healthy Mitchell Evans is the best player. I have Mataveo pretty close. I think Mataveo is a better toolsy, like upside guy. But Evans is really, really good. He'd be a lot higher without those major. Like.
Yeah,
Bryce, how about you?
Yeah, I like Evans here for what they need.
Okay. Pittsburgh on the clock. I believe that one of their picks was a corner, but I don't remember their picks.
They got Tyleek Williams and Jacob Parrish.
Love
Is this
Jacob
a
Parrish
running
in the
back
slot there.
or a quarterback?
My
wide
first thought was,
receiver.
is this Tyler Shuck? Like, do we take the shot here?
I don't hate it.
Okay. That's how we build consensus here.
Shuck or Howard? Are you hiring?
Those guys are really close for me. I like them both. I think Shuck is like, if you're going to take a round 3 guy, you got to go for the one with upside, and I think Shuck is the upside guy here.
I agree.
But
as a Buckeye, I would actually have to agree with you on that.
see, I think Will Howard does a lot of stuff great.
I like
all
Will
the important
Howard.
quarterback traits.
I just don't think he would fit in there. I don't think that's his. That's not his.
I don't like him under pressure. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I thought that there was no coincidence that the pass rushes that they faced throughout the playoffs were average, and that's where they had the most success. And then a team like Michigan gave him a bunch of fits.
Well, we didn't know what a forward pass was in that game.
That's how he was at K-State too.
Yeah.
Okay, Green Bay is up in round 4.
The hardest team to draft for.
Always.
Yeah, because they are the most specific, right? They have a very
Yes.
Is this Deion Walker?
specific set of.
Deion Walker absolutely nails those thresholds. So
Let's see, Devontae Wyatt still got Kenny Clark. Although Devontae Wyatt's got to be getting close to a 5th-year option, right?
What
Yeah,
was
and I
Green
don't think Clark
Bay's
has that
3
much
picks,
left.
Heather?
They had Thomas and they had. Oh, hang on. Let me go back.
Thomas, somebody, and Torrey Horton.
Oh, Landon Jackson.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thomas Landon. So
They got Carl Brooks last year. Devontae Wyatt, Colby Wooden. Yeah, I kind of don't hate Deion Walker here just for the upside.
okay.
Yeah, let's get Deion Walker in there.
And by picking him, we can stop talking about it.
Exactly. There we go.
Find more players. We got to dig deep into the board. This is going to get fun once we finish round 4 and get into round 5. I can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
You just take your home run hits in round 5.
Yeah.
This is Jalen Rivers, right? They need a guard really bad.
Yeah, well, that's. Do we think that they're keeping? I know there's been talk about Zion Johnson moving to center.
He's got to. He was awful at guard.
Yeah, Zion Johnson, and then they brought in Becton. Yeah, who's the other guard?
I keep forgetting they brought him Becton.
Yeah,
Heather, what have the Chargers done?
They have McMillan, Arroyo, and Bryant. Elijah Arroyo, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that does change. I don't know why.
They need a
I can't remember they got
linebacker.
Becton. Diane Henley's been awesome for them. And they got Junior Colson last year.
yeah. I think they're pretty set there.
Do they need a running back?
They got Najee in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Is there a Michigan player on the board that we like?
Not one.
I mean, go edge.
Dorian
Probably-
Strong is here. Mello
Yeah.
Dotson's here.
Probably DB or edge, honestly, for me.
Do we like Hugh Robinson here? Or do we like JTT or
I think
Sawyer?
like JTT
Would Harbaugh draft an Ohio State player?
Oh yeah, for sure.
swallow his pride for JTT at this point.
I
Do we
think
think
it's great
it's
value.
JTT?
Yeah, I mean, you get a guy. You know, you just lost Bosa, who wasn't the most available guy anyway. But you get in like a day one ready run defender, pretty technically advanced with his hands. Not the best athlete, but he's coming in as a day one.
And he's got that recruiting pedigree, right? Former 5-star.
Oh yeah,
Harbaugh cares about that stuff.
Jaguars are up.
So this is their second pick of round 4.
Yes, and we just got
1-0. They were at 107.
So they ran them at 107. What did they do on day 1 and 2?
Egbuka, Morrison, and Gunnar Home.
Pretty good
Like
squad.
Mason Graham in round 1, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mason Graham. Yeah.
I mean, this could also be edge, somebody opposite of Trevon Walker. Plus, I mean, I don't know how credible the source is, but there's been some floating trade talks about Walker. And
I'm thinking edge or running back. I'm with you there on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, Powell Ryland is a lot of fun. I think he's probably the highest guy left for me. Elijah Roberts, too, maybe.
I don't know. This wide receiver room is just so weird to me. You got Brian Thomas Jr., Alpha, Diami Brown, Gabe Davis, Parker Washington, Joshua Cephas.
Yeah, you had an Egbuka as a second guy there. You could go get a slot. You know, they just lost Christian Kirk. So
you guys like Efton Chisholm here?
I still have not gotten my hands on any Eastern Washington tape, so I can't speak to Efton Chisholm yet. I don't know why this stuff's so hard to find. But
Price, how about you?
Yeah, same. I've not taken a look at him yet. Got to figure out. We got to share these Patreons and stuff and get some.
I know, dude.
More people with them.
I got to get a look at that red field.
What do you think of Andrew Armstrong here?
I kind of like him. I don't know if I like him here, but I do like him. Like, he's pretty explosive. I had some nice reps. I know one of my buddies who works for the Draft Network is really high on him.
Yeah, I think he's actually the lower of the two Arkansas receivers for me. I have Tesla higher, but I mean, maybe Brooks. You know, Tez Johnson is still here. I don't know if you want to take that shot. I know we said we were in the 4th round, but this board's thinning out quick.
I kind of like the running back suggestion going back to that.
Yeah.
What about? Yeah, well, they've got what's his name from Auburn, Tank Bigsby.
Bigsby, yeah. Jaden Blue, I hate it for him to go to Jacksonville, but he'd pair awesome with Bigsby.
Yeah, or let's see, is Tootin still on the board? Tootin would pair pretty nicely there.
Giddens, there's a lot of good running backs still left.
Oh yeah, Giddens still on the board. I don't like Giddens for him here because I think he's a little redundant to Bigsby, but
yeah, I agree. You needed like a third down guy.
Yeah, I like Tootin. I like. Do we just bring his brother in?
I was thinking the same thing. Put Etienne with Etienne.
I don't really think. I think Etienne is kind of a 2-down guy, like a kind of a bigger body, contact balance type guy. Did he have a ton of receiving upside at Georgia?
He had more at Florida, I think.
Okay, yeah, I just watched the Georgia tape. I didn't get to the Florida tape yet, so I would say Jaden Blue is the best guy on my board for that role, but I like Tootin too.
And Jaden Blue feels like a guy if Bigsby doesn't really take another step, he could be a full 3-down guy. Jaden Blue.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So, because he got like almost no carries at Texas and still like it showed pretty clear development over the years.
Yeah,
like 100-something carries.
Yeah, until like the very end there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Rams are up in round 4.
They have Colston, Loveland, Blaucone, and Jamari Caldwell.
Is this a running back?
Can also be a linebacker
back or a wide receiver.
I kind of like Barrett Carter there. They seem to be a team that just never puts anything in a running back.
Yeah, they just don't care. And plus, you still got Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. Yeah, I like linebacker here. They still need. I know we got Jamar Caldwell, but they still need run defense. They got rid of Ernest Jones. Barrett Carter kind of replaces his role as that heavy blitzer inside linebacker.
Barrett
Carter it is.
The Commanders are up.
Commanders have Jade Barron and Braden Swinson.
It's got to be a receiver here, right?
You
got Tebow, got McLaurin. Zacchaeus is still there.
Are we counting Debo? Does he count?
That picture of him at the Super Bowl.
Who do you like at wide receiver in round 4?
I mean, I've got Jalen Lane in this range for me. I think you could look at Ricky White. You could look at Tez Johnson. Armstrong has the athletic traits, maybe at that size.
Price, how about you?
What about Fannin here? I know they got hurt.
That's
Oh,
an
wait, they got
interesting
Loveland earlier in the draft.
Oh, they did.
Really
Okay,
did.
yeah. The spreadsheet. She's switching the spreadsheet to the next thing adeptly, and I keep forgetting. Okay, yeah. Let's not double up on tight end then. What about interior defensive line?
They did just re-sign those two big free agents, or sign those two big free. Or, wait,
Oh yeah,
they did, right?
Yeah,
They got they signed somebody who was
got-
crazy
I think
contract.
they
Came
would
from
be
the
more
Patriots.
likely to double dip at edge.
Kinlaw.
Kinlaw. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, is this a Jack Sawyer spot maybe then?
I have Powell Ryland higher, but I could see it.
Like Jack Sawyer to the Commanders in round 4?
Yeah, let's do it.
I see
Okay. Ravens are up in round 4.
So this is their first, right? In round 4. Yeah. They have Jalen Walker, they have Wyatt Millum, and Isaiah Bond.
Is this a running back? Oh, wait, this is the Ravens. So I thought we were talking about the Commanders. Give me a minute.
I still don't hate running back.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
you could
for
get like
golf.
Well-
Hill was probably not the guy you want.
They did just
Holding
pay
down
him
that-
though. He got
Did
a
they really?
contract. Yeah,
Wow.
he got a pretty modest little contract.
Okay, interesting. Could this
What
be
about-
Cam Williams? I mean, I know we already got Wyatt Milam, but I think he's
That's
a guard.
actually what I was thinking too.
Like
But
Rosengard
have they
was
taken
the
a
left tackle in
safety?
college, right?
Have the Ravens taken a safety?
Who do they have? Sean Elliott's not still there, right? He's gone. Am I way behind? I feel like I'm way behind there.
Well, they started playing Kyle Hamilton more at true safety rather than the slot.
Yeah, and they want to move him back to the slots. They're going to need somebody to put behind it.
Well, it's kind of a thinned out board here. Like maybe RJ Mickens is probably the best.
Yeah, I didn't hate
left.
Malachi Moore. Just not a great tackler for.
I think he's a nickel personally. Jalen Reed could get a look. Bowman
Castro?
is still there. I'm low as hell on Castro.
Cash didn't he test awful?
He was like a 2 something RAS.
Yeah, which is weird for Iowa. They used to be.
How about Bowman or Woodson?
I don't hate Bowman here.
Yeah, I like Bowman. I think he pairs well with Hamilton. Hamilton's so big.
Yep. Got a rangy guy back there. Not that
Okay.
Hamilton's not rangy, but
The Lions.
This is Jack Sawyer. Has to be.
Oh, wait, we already took Sawyer.
he did
to
just
the-
go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I was gonna say Jack Sawyer is so Dan Campbell.
Is this a quarterback?
I mean, you could go like a backup with Hendon Hooker on the way out. Like, is this Will Howard? I think you probably who would they? Mike, they need a receiver too. They
Brought back Tim Patrick. They got JMO.
did they bring back?
Ricky
Tim
White.
Yeah, they did. Amon-Ra.
I don't hate Ricky. I mean, he's a special team. He's awesome on special teams. I
See,
think he's a developmental Z.
And that's where I think he fits because Detroit has a good starting wide receiver room, but I don't think that they would extend. Who's the guy? Jamison Williams. I don't think they extend Jamison Williams.
I can see it. Yes, they're very, very thin. They're fine at the top, but I think like they just need a lot more depth there. So I like Ricky White there.
Okay, the Saints are back up. This is, I believe, their second pick of round 4.
This is their second pick. They do not have a round 5 pick. I don't know if that changes anything, but they don't have round 5.
And have they taken a running back yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got Samson.
Dylan Sampson. Sorry, I had him out. Yeah, Dylan Sampson.
Samson with Kamara is perfect.
And then have they taken a wide receiver yet?
Yeah, they got Io Manor. Is this linebacker too? They got rid of Willie Gay, right? He went somewhere else.
Yeah, he went to the Dolphins.
Yeah,
You like Stutzman or King?
I like Kobe King a lot. I like Jeffrey Bassa here a lot too. Cody Lindenberg, maybe. I have a lot of guys, draft professor, are high on Sean Dolak. I haven't gotten my hands on Buffalo tape yet, but
Yeah, I like Kobe King or Stutzman here.
Kobe King can shed the hell out of some blocks, man. You really don't see college linebackers be able to shed blocks at a high level anymore. I don't think he's good at much else, but he can run fit.
Okay, so Buffalo's back up, and the corners did fall. So if you had to rate the tackling ability of Burke versus Dotson, Do you like one of those guys as a tackler better, or is there a boundary corner that you like that might be a little bit deeper on the board?
I think longer beam is probably your best bet at a boundary guy right here.
What do you think, Price?
Yeah, the guy that I do the podcast with for Arrowhead Addict, he actually went to a coaching clinic with Kansas, and they didn't. It's kind of weird, but the CB coach was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't think Melo Dotson would be much more than anything like an off-man zone corner." And like he didn't make him seem like he's someone that you want to put in any sort of situation where you're press man or up on the line of scrimmage, which I don't know, it's kind of Buffalo Bills-esque, right? Like they're a little bit more that zone heavy.
Yeah, until we play in the AFC title game and Casey torches us when we play man.
This time is a flat circle.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't mind longer beam here.
Okay.
All right, Price.
And then Price, you are up for Kansas City.
Okay, so
they had Burden.
Yeah, sorry, I want to make sure you got this.
Sorry.
Want to make
No.
sure
If you know, this one's you.
So they grabbed. This is kind of
Yeah.
doomsday scenario here for the Chiefs a little bit. Their defensive line is just pretty thin. They bring back Charles Omenihu. They bring in kind of just some depth along the defensive line, but really it's Chris Jones and nobody else on the interior. They get Luther Burden in the first round, which is like, fits the yak, the things that they like to do as far out wide receiver. Caleb Johnson at running back, Ozzie Trapilo as a project tackle, and Quincy Riley, nice cornerback depth, even though they do bring in, they bring in Christian Fulton to go along with a pretty good cornerback room. So I think we're headed to defensive line here for sure. At this point, it's probably going to be BPA available there.
Vernon Broughton still being here is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
He's got hands in pass rush, man.
Yeah. Let's see here. Is it just,
I like Jake Toya a lot, too.
Let's look at edge here real quick. Powell Ryland's too small for them. I think if there's an edge here that they'll like, it's going to be Tyler Barron. He meets a lot more of their thresholds. Yeah. Let's see. And we've already got. Yeah, let's go back to DL one more time here. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I kind of like Riley Mills. I think he's got a little bit more pass rush upside than the other guys on the board. So let's put it at Riley Mills here.
Yep. And that's one of Newt's guys. Newt loves Riley Mills.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the Notre Dame pass rush looked different without him when he was injured in the playoffs. I think that made a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Eagles are up. I believe this is their first pick of this mock.
Is this the safety? Is this where we give them the safety?
Yeah, they took Nolan, Birch, and Ferguson in the first three.
Yep. So we have an Eagles troll on our YouTube that will absolutely criticize the three players that Heather just listed because they weren't a safety or a linebacker. So if we had to identify a safety or a linebacker for Philly, is this Danny Stutzman?
Oof, take your pick from this board. This is oof.
Mickens?
I still think the two best safety options are probably Mickens and Reed. Yeah, linebacker probably Stutzman or like Lindenberg maybe. I like Shamar James a lot, but I don't think Philly would like him at all.
Is Bossa still on the board?
Bossa's still there. That's a good call.
Yeah, I like Bossa, especially whenever you think about what they have there, right? Like both the linebackers they have there are more bigger bodied guys. Bossa kind of fits a role they don't have right now.
I agree. I like that pick.
Okay. Miami on the clock with a compensatory pick at the end of round 4.
Who did they?
Heather, can you remind us what Miami did? Days 1 and 2.
They got Malachi Starks, Tyler Booker, and Logan Brown.
Is it Tez Johnson or Bashal Tootin? This feels like the spot where they just stay true to their identity and pick a fast player.
Feels like it's got to be Tez, right?
I can see it. They had interest in Isaiah Bond last year.
They're
just never going to learn, are they?
They signed a wide receiver in free agency. Do you think that would deter them from Tez?
Was that the kid from the Titans, Mr. Touchdown?
Oh yeah, Nick Westbrook-Akine, man. Do it on him for a minute. I mean, he's not at all similar to Tez Johnson. They're probably the farthest apart roles you could ever find. But I think if you're looking like, I don't think Tyreek Hill is long for Miami. Not that Tez Johnson is anywhere near that, but like you're gonna find like a guy to replace an outside role. Tez as far as like inside outside versatility goes is a really tough one to me because I feel like he got almost no press man reps in college, but I thought like the very few that he did, I thought he fared okay off the line of scrimmage. But the size really concerns me.
But Heather, was one of the players you listed a tight end?
I don't think so.
No.
They need a tight end.
Fannin feels like
the protege is here.
Yeah, that would make some sense, right? You just unite them.
Do you guys like Gadsden to the Dolphins?
Gadsden or Fannin feels like a Mike McDaniels kind of pick.
Yeah,
who do you like better?
I'm Team Fannin here. I think it makes a lot of sense. Power slot.
Yeah.
Okay, Ravens on the clock again in round 4.
I like Cam Williams here. I liked him before. And
I like him at the last pick. He's still here. I think you could stop his
He fits their build too, like what they like at tackles.
Yeah.
Okay. Seattle is on the clock again, and I think this will be like their 7th pick or something.
Yeah, they've had a lot.
Heather, can you remind me?
Yeah, they had Nick Emenmori, they had Gray, Zabel, Donovan Jackson, Pat Bryant, and Jared Ivey.
Shout out to the Pat Bryant respect. Like it.
Yeah.
Will Howard
go to that next spot. That could be. This could be Will Howard. I don't hate that.
That's not a bad fit.
I just
Will Howard to Seattle.
Yeah. I'm in.
I think if Will Howard didn't have such a glaring lack of arm talent, he'd get talked about a lot higher because he's really good at everything else. The touch is impressive. I think the ball placement was kind of erratic at times. Like you said, the pressure was a problem.
A gamer as a runner,
Yeah, he can run. He can move, man. But the layering over the middle of the field was the thing that jumped out the most to me. He's really, really, really good at that.
Okay, so San Francisco is on the clock. Heather, can you remind us who they have taken?
Yeah, this will be their second. They have Derek Harmon, Darian Porter, Schweisinger, Jalen Royals, and then they had the 113th pick in this round.
Yeah, and that pick was Belton.
Yeah.
Is this a running back?
It feels like it should be.
I mean, they took Garendo last year, but I don't think that would prevent them from taking one.
I loved Garendo too.
Garendo's awesome, man.
Dude, Tootin would feast. This is the perfect fit.
This feels like, this could be cool for Tootin. DJ Giddens still being here feels a little bit wrong.
I know. Like I was thinking that too. I was like, all right, next team they need DJ Giddens.
Yeah,
actually,
they do need DJ Giddens.
Yep.
But is DJ Giddens going to be a Minnesota Viking? Because I think they need a running back.
Yeah, that's.
Can you remind us of who the Vikings picks were?
Double secondary, right?
Yeah, we're already Who did you want? The Vikings.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota.
Let me get that. So they grabbed Trey Amos and Andrew Makuba.
Yeah, they need a running back.
That's DJ Giddens.
They got Aaron Jones. They trade for Jordan Mason. Yeah, I feel like of all those guys,
go get a guy.
Yeah, I still think Giddens is the most likely to be a full 3-down guy.
I agree. His vision is awesome, man. His eyes are so good.
I love DJ Giddens.
I think he's my RB7.
Yeah, I think he's like, I've got the Ohio State guys, Genty, Hampton, and I think he might be next. I'm a little bit lower on Caleb Johnson, but
okay. Panthers are up. Heather, can you remind us?
This is going to be a
what they've done,
receiver.
please?
Yeah, their fourth round pick was pick number 111. They already have Shamar Stewart, Chris Paul, and Noel Williams. They've got three picks in round 5. So they have 140, 146, and 163. So they've got a lot this round.
So they've done edge, linebacker, corner, interior offensive line.
Is this Tez Johnson?
I don't hate it.
Tez Johnson?
Yeah, wide receiver room definitely feels like it could be more explosive there.
Yeah, I feel like Tez is a solid spot there.
Okay. Here you go, Drew.
Man, I was really thinking one of the safeties were going to be here, and that safety board has been picked clean. That's not great. Holland Pierce is still here, and that's tempting me a lot, but I did just take Miles Frazier. I think this is a tough one, man. How's the receiver board? I only just looked at it.
So you've taken Kyle Williams. Ready to take another one?
I mean, we don't have another one back there, unless you count Van Jefferson at 67 years old.
Do you like Jalen Lane?
I do like Jalen Lane a lot, but I think this needs to be a different position. I'm going to use our mock in this for a mock draft article I'm going to write later this week on the Titans, and I'm going to pick Tisla in the 6th. So I'm gonna pass on receiver right here. Okay. How's the edge board looking?
Q Robinson,
Powell Ryland still being there. Like, I like Josh Joyner. I like Fidel Diggs. That group of 3 right there is really kind of tempting. Elijah Roberts too. Man, this is a tough one. I really just thought I was going to be able to pencil in safety here, and it didn't happen.
Well, Mickens is still here.
Yeah, I don't think Mickens really fits what they need in a safety. I'll say I'll go ahead and put Power Island. I think he's fallen a little bit further than he should have. They need all the edge help they can get.
Okay, Jacksonville is up.
So Jacksonville had pick 107 and 126. They already have Mason Graham, Emeka Morrison, and Gunnar Helm. This is their only pick in round 5, but they do have 3 more picks after. They have rounds 2 in round 6 and 1 in round 7.
So they've got Jaden Blue and Lathan Ransom in addition to that.
Josh wasn't kidding about how hard it is to get team fits this deep.
How about offensive line fits? They might need a center.
Well, I mean, the only center in this class that I view is gone. I mean, Jake Majors probably is the next guy up. You could look at Jake Majors. Maybe Drew Kendall. I like Drew Kendall some too.
I know Owen likes Seth McLaughlin, but he has to sit out a year probably because he's still hurt.
And I just don't think he's good, which is kind of a problem. But he's got athletic traits. He's so raw and underfined. I think if you want to go center, I like both Jake Majors and Drew Kendall right here.
What do you think, Price?
Yeah, I think that works. They've got a tight. I was thinking tight end maybe a little bit after losing Ingram. They got Gunnar Helm here. There's not someone that super moves the needle at that position right now, anyways. I'm just trying to think. What do they have at linebacker?
Is Aluakon still there? They resigned.
Yeah, Aluakon's still there.
Who's the guy from Utah a couple years ago? Devin Lloyd.
Yeah.
So Stutzman and Mondin are here.
Oh, Smell Mondin would have been a fun pick for Tennessee. I didn't realize he was still there.
Yeah, I kind of like Stutzman.
I like Smell Mondin a lot, dude. Yeah. He's awesome.
We will go Stutzman. Raiders on the clock in round 5.
And they got edge, I believe, right?
Raiders had pick 108 in the 4th.
And then what did the Raiders do in day 1 and 2?
They were Jalen Noel,
they had and Genty. Yeah, Jalen Noel and Siobhan. Mm-hmm.
It was Genty. I didn't hear what the other 2 were, Heather.
Ravel and Jalen.
Yeah, it's Genty, Revel, and Jalen.
So I think the Raiders need to invest in trenches. They haven't done any linemen.
This feels like Charles Grant.
I like the Charles Grant fit too, especially like get an athlete at the position.
Yeah.
Feels like the offensive line needs an injection of athleticism other than the kid from Oregon last year.
Okay, so the Patriots are up in round 5. And they had 2 picks, I believe, in round 4. I'm looking. So they took Devin Neal in round 4.
Yeah.
And Jalen Travis and Holland Pierce both.
They only had 1 pick.
Mm.
Who do they have?
Drew, you said you like Jalen Travis here.
I think Jalen Travis is awesome, but they did already take Kevin Banks. So
honestly,
they need 5. They need 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, honestly, if you want to get a guy to take over for Onwenu at right tackle, I kind of like Holland Pierce better for that.
Love the length, the raw tools for Pierce.
Yeah.
Holland Pierce is a Patriot?
I think so.
The Jets are up in round 5.
Who have they taken?
So the Jets had the 110th pick. They have Membu, Scourton, and Trey Harris.
We got that was off Frazier, right? Yeah. Is this another receiver? Do they have a slot guy?
No.
Who do you like? Who do you like as a slot receiver here, Drew?
Jalen Lane.
Bryce, where are you on Lane?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a close look at him yet. Unfortunately, I don't have as much bandwidth as some of you guys do. I wish I did. I just don't.
Lane is like in a receiver class that's got a pretty glaring lack of explosion. I mean, he is explosive. He's every bit of explosive as an athlete. The hands are a disaster. He can't catch a cold, but he's just super explosive.
Yeah. So, Drew's pounding the table for somebody. Jets get him. Panthers are up in round 5.
They have gotten a lot of people already.
Tez for them.
Yeah, I feel like this is just like take BPA.
So it's
just BPA. Yeah. Which is like Dorian Strong. They need a nickel.
Yeah.
You guys like Dorian
I
Strong?
like Dorian Strong. Yeah.
So, yes, they get Noel Williams and Dorian Strong.
Bolster the secondary. I mean,
definitely-
Noel Williams and J.C. Horn on the outside with Dorian Strong on the nickel. I don't hate that. It's pretty solid.
San Francisco up in round 5.
And we got it was Belton, and who was the last guy that they just got one? Tootin. That's right. This receiver,
yep.
They kind of are thin there outside of Pearsall. Ayuk's talking about getting dealt.
Have the 49ers taken a
They
receiver?
took Royals. I forgot.
Yeah, they did get Royals.
Yeah, they took.
You can still use
They did.
third.
They got Royals.
Would they take a tight end? Is there a tight end here they would put behind Kittle?
Keep the Iowa pipeline, get Lachey.
I don't hate Thomas Fedone.
The Fedoni thing just shocks me.
Fedoni, yeah.
And if you told me that he was going to test well, I wouldn't believe it. He looks like a giraffe after the catch. Like just absolute turns like a battleship. I like Lachey a little bit more than Fedoni. I know the injuries for Lachey have been a problem, but I think he's a better blocker. And I think his upside's a little bit more. It's just the injuries and keep that Iowa pipeline going.
I mean, Jackson Hawes, did we get him in there to just maul people next to George Kittle? 12 personnel with Jackson Hawes and George Kittle and linebackers just die.
I do actually kind of like that. I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. God, that Georgia Tech team was fun this year.
I hope Max Toscano sees this somehow.
We can call that out. We can call that out.
Max, I need him to just know about that. I just gave them 12 personnel with Jackson Hawes and George Kittle.
So the Bears are up.
Who they? Is this Laquan Allen? They haven't taken a running back, have they?
They
got
Travion
Henderson.
They took Travion Henderson. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
too
too
trigger happy with Laquan Allen. Allen's my RB6, so I'm really high on him. He needs to go soon. But
So is Emory Jones the only offensive lineman that the Bears have taken?
I think so.
Or did they take Josh Simmons?
No, that was the Saints.
No, they took Izaraku. That's right.
Yeah.
They took Izaraku. Is
I mean,
this
you could go
another offensive lineman?
I see Emory as a guard, so you could go Jalen Travis as a tackle, a developmental guy.
Ooh, I like if Jalen Travis is here. I like Travis going to the Bears.
Yeah, let's plug that in.
Thank you for
Jalen
pointing
Travis
out that
is
he's
awesome.
still there, Drew.
Yep.
Dallas is up. I believe Dallas did not have what was it? They did not either have a third or a fourth.
They had a third, not a fourth.
They did not. Yeah, they had a third, no fourth, and they have 3 in round 5. This one, 171 and 174.
Okay, and remind me who
So they have Campbell, Higgins, and Demetrius Knight. Will Campbell, Jaden Higgins, Demetrius
This
Knight.
has got to be running back, right?
Yeah, I kind of like
Yeah, I
Quinn
was just
Allen here.
Quinn Allen here.
Yeah, because Tony Pollard, like hybrid, right? Like that's kind of like the role that he's going to be in.
Mhm.
One of the youngest guys in the draft too.
The Quinn Allen
you
is
guys
like
just sniped him. I wasn't going to mention him because I wanted him for Buffalo.
I mean, he's just like one
Competitive
of the best
mock
receivers I've ever
drafted.
watched. Just he's lethal in pass protection. I love the Quinn Allen.
Miami is up in round 5.
They took it was
We
Fannin.
So they have
and-
116 and 135.
Yeah, it was Fannin. Who's the first one? Was that? They weren't Deion Walker, were they? No, Ty Robinson. That's right.
Who was
Is this-
the first one? Pick 116.
I kind of like Denzel Burke here.
Yeah, you can get another one.
Cornerback is just pretty thin for them. Something Storm Duck.
Storm Duck, yeah, dude.
Yeah, but
And they had an early round guy too in the past 2 years, right? That hasn't worked out like you wanted.
Igmanani.
I think so.
I will say, as a Bills fan, I'm happy that Denzel Burke is in the AFC East. We get to play him twice a year.
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the kid from like what was he? Utah State.
I think so. Yeah.
So the Colts are up.
And they got Verdon, I think, right?
I think we did
Perfect,
Burden in round 4.
Round 4.
And remind us, Heather, what Indy did.
Campbell, Taylor, and Peebles. Mason Taylor, Aeneas Peebles.
This was Jihad Campbell, right? So they took their
Yeah.
linebacker.
Yeah,
already.
Jim Campbell,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, this could be some depth at receiver. You know, pass downs and Pittman.
Mhm.
Great. I don't have a lot of faith in Alec Pierce. I maybe running back too. We were talking about that earlier. To get somebody behind Jonathan Taylor, we didn't get one.
So is there a high res running back?
Donovan Edwards.
did he get a high?
Yeah, he tested really well.
Oh, well.
Isaiah Pacheco with the Madden video game cover is like what I call him.
You like Donovan Edwards here?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? I think there's a lot of nice layover there between him and Taylor. Vision obviously is not quite as good, but
Yeah.
Okay. So the Cardinals might need a running back too. Heather, can you remind us who the Cardinals?
They took a
Yeah, they
receiver.
were picked
Was it Felton?
115, and then they have Will Johnson, Alfred Collins, and David Walker.
I think it was Ty Felton, right?
115.
Yep.
now they did extend James Conner, and they drafted Trey Benson last year, who
Yeah, I think
Still
running
has-
back is
Oh,
kind of set.
I didn't know that they extended Connor.
Is this tight? Do you look at tight end here behind McBride?
They have
other than
McBride, don't they?
I was just thinking is another guy.
oh yeah,
for
but
like 12.
McBride is a glorified receiver.
Yeah, he's a slot receiver. An inline guy. Mataveo would be cool.
It's either Mataveo or Lachey for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lachey's probably a little bit more refined, but he's also got some major injury concerns.
Yeah.
So just pick your poison there.
Okay. Bengals are up.
They took
Bengals.
Kaiser.
Yep.
See, this could be another team that is this just like back-to-back tight ends? They don't have anybody.
How
with
many
160.
offensive linemen has Cincinnati drafted?
None. They need a guard actually really badly. Jalen Rivers isn't still there, is he?
Fairchild's here and Rivers is here too.
Jalen Rivers is still that's a home run. You got to take Jalen Rivers. I didn't know he was still here. That's a steal. I think he's like a
Okay.
80s or 90s guy for me. So
Okay. The Giants are on the clock in round 5.
who do they?
They had pick 105 in round 4.
They got a safety too, didn't they? Was it Sanker? Yeah. This feels like defense.
Have they taken a corner?
I don't think so. That was what I was going to say is boundary corner, which, unfortunately there's not many left. But, I mean.
Bryce, what kind of boundary corners are left on your board right now?
Take a look here.
Right, because Hancock is more of a slot. Mello Dotson's here.
I've got Tommy Hill up a little bit higher than probably most do, and it's not just because he went to Nebraska. I mean, this guy, like in November, was getting mocked in the first round to people.
Was he really? Wow.
Yeah. After that Colorado game.
Was he the one that jumped Shadur on that hitch route for the pick 6? Was that him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was that. Everything after that moment was downhill as a Nebraska. that was peak. That was the highest of highs. I also like Tommy Hill because I think he's got the length that he could move to safety. Former receiver, teams background as a returner. I like him.
Yeah, I think it was between Tommy Hill and somebody like maybe Jamari Harris, who I think is a reach there. But see, we just got
Miami is back up. Did we manage to get Miami a tight end?
I think they got Fannin. Yeah. Well, if you count Fannin as a tight end, which I don't.
Power slot.
Would we do a
go running back here again?
Miami?
Dylan Gabriel feels awesome in Miami. Just get like the same guy as Tua.
I do kind of like that.
You want 2 of him though? I mean, Gabriel
who did they bring in? They brought in Zach Wilson, but that's probably just a 1-year deal, right? Yeah. But I do
Kyle McCord, I think, is the highest guy for me left, but I don't know if that's. And I'll live and die by Max Prosmer. I love Max Prosmer.
McCord just slings that.
McCord slings it, man. He's like Jameis Winston, like Jay Cutler level, like 40-40.
Heather, your thoughts on Kyle McCord?
Yeah, Kyle McCord in a better offense. Kyle McCord did very well. I think he's got a good arm. I like Kyle McCord with this one. I don't love Dylan. I don't love Gabriel for this pick. I like McCord.
I like that. I think McCord is higher. I just would be funny to have 2 of Tua in the same
QB. Right, exactly.
You can see it with the release.
Did we do a running back for them already?
Who's this?
Pittsburgh.
So,
I don't think we did.
No, we did.
We haven't done wide receiver or running back.
What about Taj Brooks here? That feels pretty Steelersy.
Yeah, I like Brooks a lot. I think like Ollie Gordon, my own guy, Hunter, they're all pretty similar builds. Woody Marks, if you want like a third down. ETN is probably the highest left for me. I think he's a very well-rounded guy. I think him and Brooks are probably 2 like potential 3-down guys. You can get in there.
You like Brooks, the Pittsburgher?
Yeah, I like that. Brooks will crush your ankles in a phone booth, man. Like he's elusive as hell.
He's pretty patient too. It does some shades of good old what's his name who was there in
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell, yeah.
Yeah. Bell is my current comp for Caleb Johnson, so I'm maybe throwing that one around too loosely, but there's a lot of really patient backs in this class. I just wish Brooks was a better athlete. That's the only thing holding me back with him. He's really, really limited.
So the Buccaneers are on the clock in round 5. I'm looking for their round 4 pick because I remembered us talking about them.
Was it corner? Yeah, Zy Alexander.
Mm-hmm. I like Savion Jones here. He's one of the higher guys on my board. I know that we did do
a different edge. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got Jack Campbell or not Jack Campbell, Jack Sawyer.
I think they got Princely. Sawyer was.
They got Princely.
So Princely and Savion Jones, but they do need edge help. It's a deep edge class. I don't hate.
You can also look at receiver, but I like Savion here.
Yeah, the length, power.
Yep.
I like it.
Okay. Chargers back on the clock at 158.
We didn't get a guard for them, did we? Because they signed Becton. I remember it this time. There we go. I found it. I can't ever seem to, but
JTT was round 4.
Mhm.
You get another receiver here. I mean,
They took T-Mac
they
in
took
round
Ted,
1, right?
but like, do you trust Quentin Johnson to be your third? Do you turn him into a big
They
slot?
got
Do you just
Arroyo.
get a bad big slot.
So
Yeah,
they've done
yeah.
T-Mac and Arroyo in this mock.
Mhm.
What about DT?
Do they
taking
need a
DT?
running back?
They signed Najee. I don't know if you like.
1-year deal though. I kind of like Ollie
he's a fun
Gordon
solution.
there, either him or Etienne.
I like ETN.
Ooh, no, I've got RJ Harvey's the highest of these guys on my board.
I'm lower on Harvey, but I don't know. I mean,
I like the feet. I like the movement. Finds his way in the end zone. Pretty good pass catcher.
yeah, Harvey's a really fun athlete, but I think the vision problems are going to be really bad because I think like his solution to everything was just run to the edge, and because he was such a better athlete than everybody he played against, it worked. But
Yeah, that's a good
concerned about that
point.
at the next level. But he'd be a fun fit in LA for sure.
Yeah.
Let him learn behind Najee.
Okay.
Green Bay
in round 5.
Who is left that's a good athlete? Or is at least big?
Have they already taken a wide receiver?
I think did we get?
Yeah, they
somebody?
took Troy Horton.
Yeah.
Torrey Horton, excuse me.
Have we done offensive line for them?
I don't think so. And Travis would have been fun for them. I like Marcus a lot, and I don't think he fits.
Is there an offensive lineman that we like? Cornelius
Carson Vincent has super long arms, and it's a really big frame. He would fit a lot for them. He's mean. I think there's some anchor concerns, some foot speed concerns there, but I think he fits the athletic traits for them.
Okay.
And obviously a great Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He
was a large gentleman. I
thought he took I interviewed him at Media Day. I thought he took my hand off when I shook it.
I'm 6 feet tall, and like I got whiplash looking up at his head.
Yeah, I think his hand went up to like the middle of my forearm. That guy's huge.
Yes.
Vikings. Okay. See, did we got double secondary on
running back for Minnesota? I think they got Giddens. Corner, safety, running back. Is this
offensive line?
Offensive line or edge?
Guard was my first thought. They could probably use edge too. Opposite, I mean, Dallas Turner. They still got waiting in the wings. I'm a little bit lower on Fairchild. I don't hate Clay Webb here. Willie Lampkin is a lot of fun here. I'm high on Willie Lampkin.
Where are you on Webb?
I would straight up do Willie Lampkin.
Yeah, I like Lampkin.
I mean, that is the meanest football player in this entire draft class.
Like, there's not a lot of in this class.
No, there's not. He's 5'11". He's tiny. He's like 270, super tiny, crazy long wingspan, and he hates people when he plays the game of football. He wants to he's bare knuckle boxing out there. He wants to put somebody on their back every single play.
So, guys, as we're getting towards the back of round 5, like, are you surprised that like Ja'Cory Brooks has fallen, or is this about where you have him?
I don't really like Ja'Cory Brooks that much, so not personally.
Yeah, I'm not as high on him either, so I'm not surprised.
Do you think there's a receiver that we would do for Philly? Like, whenever I see a team pay 2 wide receivers like a lot of money, I'm like, well, you should probably make sure that you have some talent on rookie contracts behind them. But I'm curious, like, do you like Rock Taylor, Elijah Badger?
Efton Chisholm is there. Zachary Franklin's got some juice.
I like Zachary Franklin. He's the one that makes the most sense is like if you're going to fit someone in to kind of take over the AJ Brown position, like a pure X.
Yeah, I mean, Dante Thornton is still there too. I think you got some projection to do before you let him fully take on the X role. But that's a guy that's incredible athlete and a huge frame. He can sink his hips really, really well for his size. Pretty much only ran stop routes because Tennessee just has some war criminals drawn up their offense over there in Knoxville. But
so, Heather, what have the Jets done?
A lot.
We just got them. Yeah, they've got a couple of picks.
Yeah,
Jalen Lane, that was my guy.
yeah, they were pick 110 in the 4th round. They have Membu, Scourton, and Trey Harris, and then this is their first pick of the 5th round. Yeah,
Yep.
they have
So
2
they've
picks in
done-
the 5th round.
Yeah. So they did Za Frazier, and then I thought I saw another one.
Jalen Lane.
Jalen Lane. So they did Za Frazier and Jalen
Yes,
Lane.
their second.
Do we get them a linebacker? They just let CJ Mosley go. I mean, you got some guys.
Deshaun-
Lindenberg's on the board. I love both the Auburn guys. I'm a big fan of. I love Shamar James. I like Cody Lindenberg. Eugene
Lindenberg's-
Asante's been a fun
Yeah.
one for me. I think Lindenberg's probably more of a 3-down guy.
Yeah, bigger body too. Some
Yeah.
injury history with him.
He can run fit. I don't think he's so bad that you have to take him off on passing downs. You probably don't want to
Yeah.
live there, but I mean, he
What
can
about
play.
what about the guy from Buffalo?
Sean Dolak?
Dolak.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've not
Weapon?
got a chance to watch him, but I've heard.
Yeah,
good
I'm the same
things.
way. A lot of draft professors love him. I haven't watched him yet.
We'll give
We'll go Sean Dolak.
Owen's guy a shout out.
There we go. Back to Carolina again.
Yep, Carolina again.
We got Malachi Moore here. That feels like I think he's a nickel, but I think you could probably get him at safety, and they need a guy at safety, and that whole safety board is a disaster.
Do you like more Price?
Yeah, I think he's a fairly high floor guy. I don't think he's an in the box guy. Not a ton of strong tackling skills from him, but for the most part, I think he's a guy you can get by with.
Okay, so we're about to do 3 Eagles picks and like
Oh my
6
goodness.
picks.
Yeah, so Philly has 161, 164, 165, 168. So we just circled back. We're circling back to them for everything. So they have 2 in a row here.
Do we just
Okay, and
throw in
remind us
Stackhouse
what
and
rounds
Georgia
1 through
guys?
3 were?
Sorry, what did you say, Jim?
Heather, what were rounds 1 through 3 for Philly? Please.
Walter Nolan, Jordan Burge, Terrence Ferguson.
Maybe Rondé Gadsden here. You get a big slot for them.
We haven't done tight end for Philly, have we?
They got Terrence Ferguson, but he's an inline guy.
Oh.
He's very, very different from Gadsden.
Would one of these be a running back?
I mean, you could get somebody behind Saquon. I feel like Saquon is he's taking the entire workload.
Who
But
they at? They got a running back last year.
Austin
Was
Scott.
it Gainwell?
Last year. Was Gainwell last year?
No, they drafted the kid from Clemson.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Will Shipley.
Yeah,
Shipley.
That's true.
but Gainwell did leave.
Mhm.
Hey, Sam Teets, it's good to see you in the chat. We are in the process of figuring out what Philadelphia is going to do in round 5. So you're
Do
a
they go
man
like-
of great ideas, Sam. So feel free to make a suggestion.
We lost Price, so I hope Sam gives me some recommendations here. I mean,
So
you could just stack trenches. You could go another nickel. I mean, they need a guy behind DeGene.
So
I like
who's
Jabbar
your best nickel that's left? Mac McWilliams was at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I like Jamari Harris a little bit more than most. I think Melo Dotson is another guy that could be there. I don't know if I love him in the nickel spot. I like Jabbar Muhammad here, honestly.
Okay, and they're right back on the clock one more time.
Right back. I still stick by the Rondé Gadsden thing. I think that'd be a cool guy to pair up with that Terrence Ferguson pick.
That works. Okay,
Next
so the
person.
Texans
Oh,
are back up.
So the Texans did not have a pick in round 4. This is their first pick in round 5. They got Josh Connerly, Jack Beck, Quinshawn Judkins, and Luke Kandra in their first 4.
So they've done 2 linemen.
It was Connerly and Kandra. That's right. There's Bryce. He's back.
Heather, was one of those players a running back?
Yeah, they got
Quinshawn.
Judkins.
Quinshawn. So they need receiver help.
Yeah.
I like Samuel Brown.
Sam Brown's a lot of fun. He's been a guy that is a late day 3 target for that Cam Ward connection for me. I've been interested in him as a guy for Tennessee.
Outside guy predominantly. Pretty good speed.
Yeah, Max and Hook is kind of talking to me here for Tennessee because they don't have a safety, but I'm just going to go receiver here, double hold receiver. It's between Dante Thornton and Isaac Tesla for me. They're very, very similar players, very similar grades for me. Tesla has been linked pretty heavily to Tennessee, so I'm going to go ahead and take him. Do you have him in the sim? I assume you do.
Okay, I need you guys to filibuster for a minute.
I can do that. I'll just go ahead and talk about Isaac Tesla because I love him a lot as a prospect. I'm higher than him on consensus. This is a guy I've talked to Randall a lot about him because Randall was both the receiver and the Arkansas guy. Tesla, I mean, this is a guy with a huge frame, like 6'4". I think he came in at 210, 205, something like that at the combine. Ran a 4.43. He had like a 9.96 RAS or 9.62, something like that. He was high nines RAS. 0 drops in his career at Arkansas. Hands are vice grips. I have another guy that sinks his hips really, really well at his size and his athleticism. In a receiver class that I don't really love, there's a lot of big guys that can sink their hips on stop routes, which I kind of appreciate watching. I think he gets in and out of his breaks pretty efficiently. He doesn't waste a lot of movement. I don't think he's the most polished separator in the world, but I mean, it's the guy you're getting on day 3. That's a great athlete at 6'4" with good hands. You can't have everything there. I think he's physical. He knows how to use his body at the catch point. I thought he might have to start at big slot because I don't think he didn't see a ton of press man because teams were scared of his speed, but I don't think he handled it very well when he did see it. I'd like to see him get better with his hands, have some better footwork off the line.
I like him. To me, like I said, I saw, and it's not just because of the skin tone, but I saw Justin Watson. He's a little bit bigger than Watson. Watson's 6'2", he's 6'4", but just like a useful guy. The straight line speed is good to me. Alec Pierce, those type of guys who are just like useful outside guys. Like you said, I think the slot he can win there too. But yeah, I think he's a useful player that's going to have a long career just for the things that he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think when you're comparing him to a guy like Dante Thornton, who, again, like I said, very similar players, very similar grades, I think Thornton had a little bit more of a limited route tree because, it's Tennessee. Everybody has a limited route tree out there. He kind of suffered from a lot of the stuff Trey Harris did, where they line them so far out on the boundary and give them such a limited route tree. But he's another guy who ran I think he's 4.3s at 6'4" or 6'5". I think I'm a crazy high RAS. I don't think his hands are quite as good as Tesla's are, but another guy that sinks his hips really well at 6'4", 6'5", big, fast target. I think he's a little bit better of a contested catch guy than Tesla was. Tesla's an awesome blocker too, which that's usually that's
Dorian Singer is Isaac Tesla because I added him, but the simulator doesn't update when you're on the clock. So I just learned something about my simulator.
There we go. Back to Philly again.
Yes, we are back to Philly.
So we've done Muhammad Gadsden, and then right before this, Zachary.
We got a linebacker here. No, we already got Boston. Never mind.
I think this should be a trench player.
Yeah. Elijah Roberts probably shouldn't have fallen this far. The Baron Swirl, is he still here? Texas guy?
I love Elijah Roberts there.
Yeah, Roberts is a lot of fun.
See, and you see Sam, you put Q Robinson in, and he doesn't fall further than Buffalo. So if Robinson didn't go there, he's definitely going here. So
that helps.
Buffalo hasn't done edge in this mock. When I heard the scouting report on Q Robinson, I'm like, that's a Brandon Bean player. Brandon Bean likes like the 5-star athletes. And he's infamous. Like players like that don't fall to Buffalo in round 1. Right. So like everything that I've heard about Q Robinson said that if he had actually stayed healthy, he probably wouldn't be making it out of the top 64. So that's what I'm doing here for Buffalo. Buffalo's got one more pick here. So if I remember correctly, in this mock, Buffalo did Matthew Golden, Kevin Winston, TJ Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did a defensive lineman in round 4 with a corner. We did Jordan Phillips, followed by a corner. Longer beam.
Right.
Now we've done Q Robinson,
Man, they have back-to-back picks. That's crazy.
Yeah, and there's also picked 173, so they're up in another 3 after this one.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, you got to get somebody behind James Cook with his future being kind of up in the air, right? I know you got Ray Davis last year, who I was a big fan of, but Brashard Smith would be a lot of fun to pair with Ray Davis. I love Brashard Smith.
Yeah.
So Smith is somebody that I was thinking about. So here's part of what I'm thinking. So if I'm thinking 3 down back, I'm actually thinking Ollie Gordon.
Do you need a 3-down guy though? Because you got Ray Davis as your bruiser.
So is Gordon more of the bruiser like Davis?
I think so, personally. I don't think he's as good as Davis.
It wasn't how I saw him. So
I'm still going to feel like Brashard Smith, like he's converted receiver, first year at running back. He's so elusive. He's got the best spin move in this whole class. He had some crazy spin move highlights. Obviously, being a converted slot receiver, he's got awesome receiving ability at running back. That'd be really fun.
Here is the best kick returner.
Brashard Smith probably belongs in that conversation. Krosky Merritt probably is in there.
Okay. We'll go Smith.
Most of these guys left are bigger bodies. So.
Okay. We'll go Smith. I like the converted wide receiver. Dallas on the clock, round 5. This is Dallas's second 5th round pick. They took LaQuint Allen. They had no 4th round pick.
They already got Jaden Higgins.
They did Higgins. I think they got Demetrius Knight.
And then Will Campbell.
And it was Will Campbell in round 1.
Mm-hmm.
Do they need another interior lineman, or should we be looking at a corner here?
You can also look at defensive line. They haven't got anybody next to Mozzie Smith, who is kind of a non-factor recently.
Is it Stackhouse?
I like Gay Toya. I think he's a really good
Where are you on that price? Where are you on the interior board here?
I'm a big Tim Smith guy. I feel like I like Tim Smith a little bit more than a lot of people do.
Cam Jackson too.
Yeah, I feel like he's a high level mover. Some actual pass rush upside there, which I don't feel is true for most of the guys here on the board. So I'm Tim Smith.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna argue with anyone.
And I'm, the time that you just gave Tim Smith is going to be the most podcast time that Tim Smith has received, right? And that's why we're doing a round 4 and 5 mock.
Yeah, my buddy who works for Draft Network, he's a big Tim Smith guy and kind of turned me on to him a little bit because, let's be honest, that Alabama defensive line did not have a lot of reasons to tune into it this year.
Hey, LT Overton is awesome.
Heather, can you remind us who Seattle took on day 1?
Yeah.
I think it was Emin Worry, right?
Yep, Emin Worry. Then they got Zabel, Donovan Jackson in the 2nd round, Pat Bryant, and Jared Ivey in the 3rd.
And then have we got them a tight end yet?
I don't think so. That should probably be up
We've
next.
done Will Howard.
Is this Fodoni?
Seattle also has pick 175, so they're real close here together too.
So I'm thinking
I
they need a receiver. We haven't done receiver yet, have we?
They got Pat Bryant.
Oh, Pat Bryant. Mm-hmm. But they could use another. So to me, this would be, is there a tight end that we like? Is there a receiver we like?
Yeah, I like Fodoni here.
Yeah. It feels good. Could also be Mataveo. He's still there. But I think Fodoni's a more like day 1 ready polished guy. Fodoni's kind of a developmental athletic toolsy guy.
Okay.
So we're just recycling these. Yeah, we have Buffalo, Dallas, Seattle, and Baltimore. So we're recycling in the 5th round.
These teams just loaded up on 5th round picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to
Buffalo needs a pass coverage guy, right? Shamar James. I'm a big Shamar James guy. I love the Auburn guys too. McLeod and Eugene Asante.
So Mondon is feeling like the pick here.
Oh, Ismail Mondon. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was still looking through the board to see if any other linebacker jumped off the page, but Smail Mondin,
Absolutely.
great pass coverage linebacker to Buffalo.
I think that's a steal.
Yeah. At the end of round 5, I absolutely love it.
That's a robbery. Okay.
So has Dallas taken a corner?
You could.
They need one.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the guys here are nickels probably. Like maybe Mello Dotson is your guy here.
Did they get a wide
what kind of
receiver?
They got Higgins, right? I think.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't hate doubling up there though.
Dallas has taken a running back, correct?
They took LaQuinn Allen, yeah.
Yeah.
We could double up at running back. That wouldn't be blasphemy.
There's a lot of big body guys left that would pair well with LaQuinn Allen. I mean, I think LaQuinn Allen can be a 3-down guy, but
Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders.
Rocket Sanders, Ollie Gordon, Khalil Mullings, Kyle Monaghan guy's still here somewhere.
I kind of like the Khalil Mullings pairing there.
I like that too.
Thunder and lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Plus special teams ability with Mullings.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Seattle.
Okay. So Seattle is back up.
Mm-hmm.
We did tight end.
I feel like we got to get Pegas in here somewhere, right? Just for the sake of being a guy. It's fun to talk about.
You could double up at receiver for Seattle too.
And you know what? They actually could use Pegas because the guy from Clint Kubiak is now the offensive coordinator there, and they run their fullback plays about as much as anyone else. I don't know if
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if Pegas is going to, quite. He would almost have to be a full-time fullback, but I do like him being able to mix into there some. And he did that kind of jokerish thing with Taysom Hill, very different players there, but yeah, Pegas.
That's fun. Okay. I like that.
I like it. Ravens, the Mr. Irrelevant.
Did we give them a running back?
I don't think we did.
We did not. I do not think.
I think we got Cam Williams instead.
No, let me look.
We did Cam Williams at the end of round 4.
Bowman.
And Billy Bowman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Is this Ollie Gordon?
Yeah, so I don't know if this changes. I mean, obviously, but they are very heavy in round 6. They have 4 picks in round 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think that does kind of change it because there's a lot of running backs left.
Right. That's what.
Kind of address one of those guys in round 6. I think Heather brings up a great point there.
Do we like any interior offensive linemen?
I love Clay Webb and Marcus Ware. I like Fadil Diggs, who hasn't gone yet. Has Baron Sorrell gone yet? I don't feel like we've picked him.
No, he is not.
Yeah, I like Baron Sorrell and Fadil Diggs. Ahmad, I can't pronounce his last name. The Boise State guy tested pretty well. I think that's a solid group of edges.
Yeah, I like Barron, Tyler Barron. Yep. Most of these guys. I think
Barron probably works the best because they got Jalen Walker in round 1.
Yeah, and he's kind of their type of guy too. The length and high-level run defender.
I like Tyler Barron there. It's a good pick.
There we go.
All right.
So we just covered probably about 80 players that don't get a lot of podcast stuff.
We probably don't get any, if we're being completely honest.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we do here. So why don't we take a minute? Heather, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are and how they can find all of your other awesome content?
I don't know about, there's a lot of content. So thank you again for having me on here. You can follow me all on X at Love Buckeyes. That's my personal page, and that's where you can see all of the other things that I do. I am part of the Bougie Sports Network that I do with my great group of women, and I cover college football pretty heavily during the season. So this kind of ties right into it. And you guys are definitely giving me a lot more to think about. Everybody pays attention to the wide receivers and the running backs and, your big offense guys, but I don't think our big guys get enough love like our offensive linemen. So giving me a lot to look at next year. So yeah, you can check me out at Love Buckeyes and you'll see all of my things.
Price, welcome back, but introduce us and tell us where we can find more of your content.
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Twitter at Price A. Carter. I'm our lead draft analyst for Arrowhead Addict, which is associated with Fansided. our show is every Monday called The Intangibles, which is our draft show. I'm in charge of our Chiefs Big Board. And then I also do film review and analysis during the NFL season for FTN, run game, and charting for the personnel packages.
Drew.
Yeah. You can find pretty much everything I do at Iron City Film on Twitter or X. That's where I put all the cut-ups and the scouting reports and all the draft talk. I do some draft and Titans writing for Stadium Rant, too. You can find some of my writing over there. And on here, every Tuesday night and usually in the 32 GM mock drafts we do on Fridays. But yeah, pretty much everything I have is on Twitter.
Cool. And I want to give a shout out to Sam in the chat. So Sam has been on our podcast several times. So Sam, it's great seeing you stop by. When a podcaster stops by to watch your podcast, that's what humbles me. So Sam, thank you. We have daily draft content on the Draft Professor. We've got 51 people, such as Heather, Drew, and Price, that are bringing you daily draft content. So 2 podcasts Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, and you kind of get the idea. Our goal is to cover the players that will be drafted in rounds 5 or better. A podcast like we just put together, that was part of the vision when the Draft Professor got put together. So as these guys said at the beginning, you have to be an addict to be able to do a podcast on round 4 and 5 guys. So you guys are all the addicts I'm looking for. Thank you. Thank you. Humbled.
Yep. Thank you.
So give the channel a follow at NFL Draft Fanatic. The best thanks you can give is to subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to Heather's channel. She's got 3 of them there. Subscribe to the Draft Professor channel. You'll see that here. You will see more college football content on this channel as Heather and the Draft Professors learn how we can combine our worlds. So there's going to be a good chance that we'll have a college football preview show coming at you in the fall. And this is our way of figuring out how everybody thinks and behaves on a podcast and stuff like that. And I know that you've had Newt from the Draft Professors on your podcast before, right?
Yes,
so,
he's been on mine. So I love the crossover. Yep.
Oh, and then we've got a couple of people stopping in. So Brandon, you're here every night. Love to see you. Thank you. And then Curtis, I'm assuming, I can tell from the picture that probably came from Heather's feet.
Probably.
If you didn't know, like, you can tell it doesn't show when I show here, but if you look at the chat, you see like a little paper clip.
Oh, nice.
That it came from a different feed.
Well, thank you. Thank you to the people looking at mine. So
yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, we're going to close this down. It's been a great 2 hours. So for Heather, Price, Drew, myself, the 51 podcasters at the Draft Professor, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on a podcast again tomorrow.